I think she should be in jail for what she did with her emails, okay? She should be in jail.
Hillary Clinton is disqualified from being the commander-in-chief.
For others, the consequences of misusing classified information have been swift and serious, but not for Hillary Clinton.
What I can tell you is this: had you done it, or had I done it, I'd be off the Intelligence Committee. My classification would have been removed.
Instead of being held accountable, Hillary is running for president.
But the hypocrisy! Oh my God. In the hours after the ex-president announced that the FBI's search of his Mar-a-Lago home, the but her emails faithful returned, personally offended by the news of an unprecedented move taken against an unprecedentedly corrupt former president. It must be political. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy saying, "I've seen enough," and vowing to conduct immediate oversight of the Justice Department if the Republicans win back control of the House, warning Attorney General Merrick Garland to, quote, "preserve your documents and clear your calendar." Chair of the Republican National Committee calling the FBI raid of Mar-a-Lago a partisan attack, saying it's the Democrats who have flouted the law and abused power. Senator Ted Cruz, my favorite U.S. senator, calling it, quote, "unprecedented, corrupt, and an abuse of power." But hey, back in 2016, that was Ted Cruz too, tweeting, "Elected officials, no matter how high their position, should be held accountable for criminal conduct. The rule of law matters." Ted, sing it. Joining us now, two friends, both from The Bulwark, Charlie Sykes, the editor-at-large there, and Tim Miller, writer-at-large for the site. Tim, also the author of a new book, and I want to say it's just a new book, a great, fantastic new book that's also a New York Times bestseller, Why We Did It, a travelogue from the Republican Road to Hell, both MSNBC contributors. And Charlie, I got to start with you. You have seniority over Tim, at least as far as I know. It's just, you know, it's like, I mean, there's a lot of things that illustrate Republican hypocrisy, but I don't know that there's been a better kind of like scientific experiment of how hypocritical the Republican Party is and how totally free of commitment, conviction, and principle than what we have seen if you go back and look at what they said in 2016 and what they're saying right now.
Well, that was then, and this is now. And we've seen this reversal on a lot of things, but you're right, it is so dramatically stark. And we could add to that the complaint about weaponizing law enforcement from a guy who used to lead chants of lock her up. Conservatives spent much of the last year, people on the right talking about jailing Dr. Fauci. You have candidates running for governor talking about jailing people who were involved in the election, and they are deeply, deeply offended now that there might be some accountability for Donald Trump. Look, and not to mention the fact that, remember what they said about defunding the police? Well, that was then. Now they are all into defunding the FBI. And that was like an overnight switch. But what's really extraordinary is this sort of projection that here you have a president who has shown a willingness to try to abuse the Department of Justice, to attack his political opponents. And now they're saying, look, they're coming after us, and this will give us the excuse to come after our political opponents. But what really struck me, and I have to admit, I shouldn't have been taken by surprise since I've read Tim's book about all of this. But the way the elected Republicans just completely lined up last night, basically accepting the notion that Donald Trump should be above the law. And so they are not into, I mean, think about this. I mean, the Republican Party is not just into backing Trump. They are into covering up Trump's crimes, obstructing any investigations into Donald Trump, intimidating prosecutors who might go after Donald Trump, and now pledging retaliation against anyone that investigates Donald Trump. So, yeah, this is a hell of a transformation of the party of law and order.
Yeah, Tim, Charlie just said that was then and this is now, which I mean, yes, that's absolutely right. The difference between then and now, deserves some scrutiny, and you're famous for doing it. But I got to do this a little bit because I could do it all day. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, let's put up that November 3rd, 2016 tweet. I could do it all day, and I'm gonna, at least for a little bit here. Here it is. When you're attacking FBI agents because you're under criminal investigation, you're losing. Sarah Huckabee Sanders last night, if you're not yet appalled by the total abuse of power from Democrats in Washington, you're not paying attention. And here's McCarthy from 2016 on Hillary Clinton and this probe development. Today's decision once again demonstrates Secretary Clinton's fundamental lack of judgment and disregard for protecting our nation's secrets. And now, he's doing the stuff he's now doing where he's kind of going after Garland. Like I said, I could do this all day. I'm going to let you do it some of this day. I mean, it's just like, Charlie says he was taken aback. You're not surprised by this, are you?
No, I'm not surprised, but I think, look, John, I was on your podcast. I guess it was last weekend, and it was you that was saying that you were concerned that an increasing prosecution, might lead to a dangerous response, right, and kind of an overwhelming surge to Donald Trump's defense. And so I'm not surprised that had happened, but I think that worse than the hypocrisy really is the incitement that we're getting from Republican elected officials. I mean, you didn't show my old friend Marco Rubio up there talking about how, this is a third world government now. This is Marxism. This is communism. Leading Republican conservative commentators, Nesh Sousa, Steven Crowder, people calling for war. There's a state rep in Florida, Sabatini, saying that basically that FBI agents should be arrested. Essentially calling for nullification. The rhetoric that has been notched up to 11 on this by even the more mainstream Republicans without even knowing what was in the court-issued warrant, right? I mean, we don't even have the details yet, and these guys are all stoking Civil War-esque rhetoric. And so and it's not surprising that these cowardly Republicans who have submitted themselves to Trump at every step along the way did it again. I have to say it's a little noteworthy just how radical the rhetoric is, even from the McCarthys and Rubios of the world. And I think at a time where, they're making really the same mistakes that they were making in the lead up to January 6th, thinking that they can, there was no political harm or no harm to the body politic to just run cover for Donald Trump and his lies and criminality. And that's what they did between the election and January 6th, thinking they're going to be rid of him. And they're all doing the same exact thing again. And I'm concerned it's going to lead to a similarly dangerous outcome.